His core area of practice is GST and technology law. He is a regular speaker at various forums and B schools. His book on management was launched by the actress Priyanka Chopra. He loves technology and keeps himself updated. He believes in simple saying, "He who fears of being conquered is sure of defeat." With this word, would like to give charge to Sri Ankit Kumar Jain for today's first session on place of supply under the GST. Ankit bhai, please take the charge.
Thank you, Virag Bhai, for giving me this opportunity to share my experiences and knowledge with the members of our fraternity. And thank you for the group which you are running. And you are doing a tremendous job by giving knowledge to everybody. I'm really obliged to be a part of this group where I can share my knowledge. Okay. So as far as this concept is concerned, we are going to. I hope everybody can hear me, right? And everybody is used to the webinars. So I am Ankit Kumar Jain. My number and my email ID is written. In case if you have any doubt, you can reach back to me and I will try to reply to you as soon as possible. So today what we are going to cover is place of supply. So before studying place of supply, it is very important to understand why place of supply is such an important concept in GST law. Okay. So for this, I would like to ask all the participants to enter in the chat box. Are they married or unmarried, or do they have the girlfriend? Are they married or unmarried? Please reply on the chat box. I'm waiting to see the replies. Okay, I'm getting few replies here. Few are saying married, few are saying unmarried. Okay, the concept here is very simple, that we are trying to understand this place of supply, and we'll be doing with some little kind of a story kind of a thing. Whether you are married or unmarried, you have to assume one thing, that you are taking your wife or a girlfriend or your boyfriend or a husband on a date, और वहां जाने के बाद कहाँ जा रहे हो, क्या खरीद रहे हो, क्या सर्विस ले रहे हो. You have to understand that thing in mind, and accordingly we need to understand कि बॉस इसमें जीएसटी कौन सा लगेगा, सीजीएसटी एसजीएसटी लगेगा या फिर आईजीएसटी लगेगा, right? And for this reason only we need to understand this place of supply. Now, why is place of supply such an important thing in GST, right? Suppose आप एक corporate client हो, you are a corporate guy and your office is in Bombay, and you are going to Delhi for some client meeting for 2 days, 3 days, and you're staying in an hotel, correct? If you're staying in a hotel there, so the hotel guy will raise an invoice on your name, right, or your company's name with the GST number. So will the hotel give you an invoice of CGST, SGST or IGST? Now, समझ रहे हो? Because for you to take the input claim, the ITC claim or the benefit of ITC, you would say कि boss मैं तो registered Bombay का हूँ and I'm going to Delhi, so please issue to me an invoice having an IGST on that, so that I can take the benefit of the taxation which I'm paying to you, and because otherwise that will be added as a cost to your company. On the same hand, the hotel in Delhi, what they will say, sir, we cannot give you an IGST invoice because we are a hotel placed in Delhi, and Delhi as a state has a separate CGST, SGST, and if we do not give any revenue to our Delhi state in terms of SGST, then probably they might create an issue for us. And so there are certain situations like this where the buyer, the recipient of service wants some other kind of taxation like IGST. The recipient of the supplier of service cannot give that, and he has to charge certain services called as CGST, SGST. So in these scenarios, we have to understand that there is a concept of place of supply which will help you to identify where is the supply happening. If the supply is happening at certain place, then we can identify whether we have to apply CGST, SGST, or we have to apply IGST. So for this background, we will start with the presentation. I've tried to make it very graphical for everybody so that they can understand in detail. And this place of supply will help you to understand that. So one more thing we need to understand, this place of supply is not under the CGST Act, it is given under the IGST Act. Why it has been given under the IGST Act? Because IGST is a central act, right? If there's a state, it is given under the state rules, CGST rules, then there's a challenge because CGST, SGST goes in hand. If it is an IGST, it is common for all. That is why the situation where there is a question mark, it is given under the IGST Act. Same is the case with when you're dealing with the exports or imports of goods. Those rules and those acts have, those provisions have been given under the IGST Act. So for understanding the place of supply, we need to understand the IGST Act, and these provisions are given under the IGST Act, correct? So I'll start with the presentation. Okay, so here is place of supply. So under this place of supply, we need to understand 5 things. What is the need of place of supply? What is the difference between place of supply of goods versus services? What is the place of supply if the transaction is happening between B to B? What is the place of supply if the transaction is happening between B to C? And what are the provisions related to this place of supply? So as I've briefed you already, what is the need? We'll just have an understanding what is the need. As GST is destination based taxation, right? It is not like the previous taxation law, which was an origination based taxation. GST is an destination based tax where place of supply, which as we will identify, it will help us to determine the taxable jurisdiction where the tax should be levied, and based on these taxable jurisdiction we will be able to understand if it is an interstate transaction from one state to another state, then the transaction would having the invoice would have an IGST, and if it is a within the state, then the transaction would be having CGST and SGST, right? So this is what is the need for understanding this place of supply, because हमको ये पता है कि हमने supply तो कर रहे हैं. Now it is time to raise the invoice. So for raising the invoice, we need to understand कि बहुत इसमें tax which we have to apply on that invoice, whether it will be in IGST or whether it will be in CGST, SGST. So for identifying this which tax to apply, we need to understand the place of supply, right? So this is what the background of place of supply is. Then, as we know that in the GST, there's only one terminology which is called as supply, whether it is for goods or it is for supply of services, correct? So, but there are certain differences, or there are certain situations where place of supply of goods versus place of supply of services can be different. Why? Goods, it's a tangible thing and it can be touched and understood where the transaction is happening. Whereas as far as services are concerned, there are few situations where it is very difficult to identify the services, right? So I'll just take you through those. Goods being a tangible, no significant problem in identifying the place of consumption, as GST is destination based taxation. So we can identify in case of goods where the consumption has taken place. So if we can identify where the consumption has taken place, so we know that this is the place where the taxability will be there. If the consumption is happening interstate, then it will be IGST. If the taxation is happening within the state, it will be CGST, SGST, correct? Now, as far as services are concerned, this is an intangible thing, which it is just a provision of service, right? So there are challenges in this. So there's significant problem in identifying the place of consumption. What will be the place of consumption is a challenge here, right? So there are certain factors which create this problem. We'll understand these problems also. So you'll get a clear understanding of the background of place of supply. So as far as services are concerned, what can be the problem areas? The manner of delivery of service could be altered easily from postpaid to prepaid, prepaid to postpaid, right? Like if you're having a Netflix, sorry, a mobile phone account, initially we were postpaid, now we're converting into prepaid, or we were into prepaid and we're converting into postpaid. So in these scenarios, what will be the place of supply? Where is the consumption happening? If it is a postpaid, we know that there's an address given on the bill and we know where will be the place of supply or the consumption. But in case of prepaid, we do not know where is the consumption happening, correct? So there's a situation which is creating a problem for identifying the consumption. There can also be situation like service provider, service receiver, and the service provided may be suppressed, leaving hardly any trial. There can be collaboration between service provider and service receiver, and the services can be suppressed, leaving any trial to identify the consumption. Fixed location of service provider is not necessary. Now, as we all are work from home, and some people have gone to their hometowns as well, so which can be Rajasthan, Gujarat, Bihar, anywhere. So, and they are giving services from there. So in these scenarios, is a service provider fixed location necessary? Not necessary, correct? So this can again create a challenge. Where is the service getting consumed? Sometimes service elements might flow to more than one location, right? Suppose if you've got a contract of laying a railway track, right? And this railway track is going from Maharashtra to Gujarat. So you are covering 2 states into this, correct? Now, so again, there will be a challenge that where is the consumption happening? Some part of consumption is happening in Maharashtra, some part of consumption is happening in Gujarat, correct? So where is the consumption happening? So if you do not understand where the consumption happening, again, it's going to create a challenge for us. So it has to be done on a proportionate basis. Continuously evolving and posing new challenges. The technology is evolving so fast and the means of providing services are changing so rapidly that it is creating a challenges every day, correct? So this is the reason why in case of services, there's a problem in identifying the place of consumption, and for these problems, we have been given certain provisions as how to identify in certain situations where will be the place of consumption, and accordingly the place of supply will be the place of consumption, correct? Now, as a supplier, we can give our services or goods to B2B clients or B2C customer, B2B or B2C. Now, what is B2B? Are the registered GST registered dealers, correct? So these registered dealers are nothing but it's a bypass road, because ultimately they take the input tax credit and the end GST is applicable only on the end consumer. That is the B2C kind, right? So we'll understand the B2B transaction. It's a pass-through transaction because they have to pay the tax and take the input tax credit, and again pass on, do the sale and collect the tax and set it off. Recipient is entitled to use the ITC for future payment of taxes, correct? As a dealer, you are not a consumer, so you are able to utilize the ITC on the future payment of taxes. Whereas as far as B2C is concerned, supplies are finally consumed and taxes are paid actually comes to the government when the consumption is happening at the consumer level, correct? Other than that, it is just a pass-through transaction. In B2B, it's a pass-through transaction. In B2C, it is a actual end of the consumption where the government will be able to get the taxes, correct? So this is what is the whole scenario of the consumption which I'm talking about. So when we are identifying a place of supply, there are few assumptions which we need to keep in mind for the appropriate result to identify what will be the place of consumption, and accordingly we identify the place of supply, and accordingly we put whether it is a CGST, SGST, or it is an IGST Act, correct? So let us just read what are the assumptions here. Let me just take you here. We need to understand what will be the location of service provider to understand the place of supply. We need to keep in mind the location of service receiver also. We need to keep in mind the place where the activity takes place or place of performance, correct? There are situations where the performance is happening. If you're going to a salon, and if you go, then what will be and you are from Delhi and you are coming to a salon in Bombay, so what will be the place of performance? That also has to be identified. What will be the place where it is finally consumed? The place or person to which the actual benefit flows. So this is the assumption for creating the appropriate result to identify the place of consumption, and accordingly we identify the place of supply, correct? And so now these goods and services can be in the two situations, whether it is in India or outside India, correct? So there are certain provisions for both the situations, whether it is within India or outside India. So we'll have a look into that also. So if you have the transactions within India and if you have transactions with different countries. So if we have transactions within India, and as far as it is regards to the goods, then it is under section 10 of IGST Act, which talks about the place of supply of goods with transactions within India. And within India, supply of service, it is given under section 11. Similarly, in case of transaction with different countries in terms of service, different countries in terms of goods, it is section 11. I think the link is missing here. It is section 11 of IGST Act, which talks about the place of supply of goods in case of transaction with different country. And in case of supply of services with different country, it is section 13. We'll be covering in detail about these sections also. So till now, I'll just sum up what we have understood in this particular slide. So I'll take you through this. We understood what is the need of this place of supply. As GST is destination-based tax, it helps us to identify the taxable jurisdiction and to identify the actual consumption, right? If it is an interstate, we apply IGST. If it is intrastate, we apply CGST, SGST Act. Then we understood why it is important to understand and have differentiation between the place of supply of goods versus supply of services. Goods being a tangible, there is no significant problem in identifying the consumption, whereas as far as services are concerned, it is an intangible thing, and there are certain situations which creates a problem in identifying the place of consumption, and we have understood the factors which some factors which can create those kind of problems, correct? Then we understood the B2B transaction, then we understood the B2C transaction, and now the whole scenario or background is clear as far as the place of supply is concerned. I hope everybody is clear. Is there anything which anybody wants to understand the background? We are moving into the provisions now. If there's any queries, please you can put in the chat box. I'll reply to you. I hope it is clear to everybody that what are we trying to understand here. So actually we're trying to understand only the consumption. Where the consumption is happening, there will be the place of supply. Is it clear? Right. So now we are going to move ahead with transaction within India and transaction with different countries, correct? So we'll understand what is transaction within India and what is transaction with different countries. So as far as transactions within India is concerned, we have already seen that section 10 of IGST or Act, which is place of supply of goods, correct? And section 12 of IGST Act, which is place of supply of services, where location of supplier and recipient is in India. Both the location of supplier and recipient is in India, correct? Similarly, transactions with different countries, we have section 11 of the IGST Act, which talks about the place of supply of goods, where it is in case of imports or exports, correct? And we have section 13, which is talking about the place of supply of services, where location of service provider or service recipient is outside India. Either of the two is outside India, correct? So for as far as understanding the place of supply for goods, we have to understand two sections. One is section 10 and one is section 11. And as far as understanding the place of supply of service is concerned, we need to understand two sections. Section 12, what is place of supply of service in case of transactions within India, where both supplier and recipient is in India, and section 13, where either the supplier of goods, supplier of service or the recipient of service is outside India, correct? I hope this is clear till now. Now we are going into detail of these provisions and will analyze where and why there can be certain differences, because as we know that GST is a destination based taxation, correct? But there can be situation where we have to identify the place of supply in a different manner, and that is what is given under these sections. Because if there can be question that GST is a destination based taxation, so why there's a challenge that what should be the place of supply? So for clearing this doubt, these provisions have been given. So basic rule remains the same, and if there are certain situations which occurs, so how do we handle the place of supply provision in those scenarios? So we'll first understand the place of supply in relation to goods, which is section 10 and section 11. So I'll take you to section 11 first, which is a very small section. Leave it. So we'll start with section 10 in case of transaction within India and the supply, then the transaction is relation to goods, right? So under this, there are certain situations which will help you identify that what will be the place of supply, and whether when there's a movement of good, when there's no movement of good, when there's a movement of good but it has been delivered to some other location, when there's an assembly of good at a particular site, when the goods are supplied on board on conveyance, when you're basically there's a flight or a train and somebody is supplying food products or goods into the train. So where will be the place of supply in those scenario? Where will be the place of supply cannot be determined in section in this particular section. Then how do we go ahead? Correct. So we'll read section 10, subsection 1, clause A, where the supply involves movement of goods. Correct. Now, in this situation, the place of supply will be location of goods at the time at which movement of goods terminate for delivery to recipient. Correct. So this is a very basic thumb rule. As far as goods are concerned, what will be the place of consumption at the end point? Correct. So the place of supply will be location of goods at the time at which movement of goods terminate. जहां पे मेरा movement of goods terminate हो गया for delivery to recipient, recipient को जो delivery देना है वहां पे अगर मेरा termination आ गया है, so that particular portion, that particular place is my place of supply, and accordingly I will put it as a CGST or SGST Act. So let us see with an example over here. So the movement, when it is coming to movement, the movement can be caused by anybody, either supplier, recipient, or any other person. Correct. It is not necessary that the movement has to be initiated or caused by supplier only. It can be done either by supplier, recipient, or any other person. But the basic thumb rule remains simple and same, that in case of movement of goods, the termination is at the place of delivery to the recipient. Correct. Illustration: a person from Gujarat comes to Mumbai and purchases goods. He declares his Gujarat GSTN. Correct. वो आपके ऑफिस में आया, बॉम्बे में आया, and he gives his Gujarat GSTN, arranges, transports himself, and takes goods to Gujarat. Now, what will be the place of supply? Would be, in this scenario, the place of supply would be Gujarat in this case. Correct. So अगर वो आपके यहाँ पे आ रहा है, and if he's giving you GSTN number, and if he is arranging the transportation himself and takes the goods to Gujarat, so in this scenario, the place of supply will be Gujarat, and you will have to put CGST, SGST onto your bill. Correct. So this is in case where there's a movement of goods. Correct. We will read this 10(1)(b) where the goods are delivered by the supplier to a recipient on the direction of third person. This is the concept of bill to ship to movement, which is a very peculiar transaction in GST, because in GST the transactions are all destination based and not origination based, which was the case in the previous laws, right, where the destination, where the origin was the point of taxation. But in case of GST, it is the destination which is the point of taxation. So we need to understand 10(1)(b), which talks about bill to ship to transaction, where the goods are delivered by a supplier to a recipient on the direction of third person. The third person is the bill to party. So we'll understand this transaction, very peculiar transaction. I request you all to please be focused and be with me so that do not miss this transaction. I have done it in a very simplified manner. I'll take you to that. So now we'll understand this bill to ship to transaction and how and what will be this thing here. Correct. So section 10(1)(b) of IGST Act, where the goods are delivered by the supplier. So the first person is the supplier. The person sending the goods or raising an invoice is called the supplier. Clear? To a recipient. Who is the recipient over here? Recipient is a person receiving the goods shipped to party. Correct? And on the direction of third person. अभी जो इस goods का owner होगा उसी के direction पे वो बंदा supply करेगा किसी को भी. Correct? Supplier. So who is the third person here? The third person is none other than the bill to party, who will make the payment to the supplier. Correct? So यहाँ पे we have three parties. One is the supplier, one is the recipient, and one is the third person. Correct? So supplier is a supplier, recipient of the goods, he is a ship to party. Now these recipient can occur in two situations where the actual buyer have sold the goods through transfer of title, correct, to the third person, or he might have asked the supplier to send the goods directly to his job worker, where he can process those goods and send the final product to the to the buyer, right? So this kind of situation where this transaction can happen, that a person in so we'll look at the example also. So we need to understand this, right? So we'll look at the example. The supplier of goods is in Delhi, correct? The bill to party is in Bombay, and the bill to party says to the supplier that ship these goods to Gujarat on, correct? So supplier, what will he do? He will raise an invoice to the bill to party. Tax invoice 1. IGST will be applicable, as place of supply is Mumbai. Hence, Mumbai party can claim the ITC, correct? But while this transaction is happening and the supplier is preparing himself to supply the goods, the Mumbai party have sold the goods already to the Gujarat party. So what will happen in this scenario? Tax invoice 2 will come into play. IGST will be applicable from the Mumbai party in the bill of the Mumbai party. The Mumbai party will raise an invoice to the Gujarat party with an IGST act. Hence, the Gujarat party can also claim the ITC. But now in this scenario, there's a challenge, because when we read the ITC, it says the goods should have been received by the recipient, correct? So, but in this scenario, when can a bill to party in Mumbai can claim an ITC? This is specifically given in the section 16, which talks about the bill to ship to transaction, and this is what the flow is all about. And as far as Gujarat party is concerned, it has also been, he can take the ITC of the invoice raised by Mumbai party to the Gujarat party, correct? So while supplying the goods from Delhi to Gujarat, what documents the supplier has to carry so that the goods are not stuck up in the during the transit period? So he has to, the GTA has to carry the tax invoice 1, which has been raised by Delhi to Mumbai, the tax invoice 2, which has been raised by Mumbai to Gujarat, and the tax and the e-way bill, correct? So if he has both the invoices and the e-way bill, then there will be no trouble in transferring the goods which is sold to Bombay party and shipped to Gujarat party. So this is the clear-cut concept of bill to ship to party. I hope it is very clear. So in this scenario, as the shipping of the goods has happened on the direction of the bill to party, it is deemed that third, that is a bill to party, has received the goods, and the place of supply is the principal place of the bill to party. Clear, everybody? I hope this bill to ship is very clear. So I'll just so this is what bill to ship to is there. So I'll just revise it everything, where the goods are delivered by the supplier to recipient on the direction of third person, correct? Supplier ने goods को delivery की third person के recommendation पे, third person के direction पे to another person, correct? तो यहाँ पे अगर वो same जो supplier जो recipient है, if it is in the state of the supplier itself, then also the supplier will have to raise an invoice to the Bombay party in the IGST manner, and the IGST of the Bombay party will raise an invoice again to the Delhi party in the IGST manner, and that is how the bill to ship to movement is occurring. So when we have seen the example, the supplier of goods is in Delhi, the bill to party is in Mumbai, and the recipient is in Gujarat. So in this scenario, how all the transaction will flow, and how both the parties, that is the Bombay party and the Gujarat party, can take the ITC, and what are the documents that the GTA has to carry in case while he's doing the transit. So we understood that that is the place of supply, or the actual consumption in this case is actually Gujarat, right? But as we understood that in B2B transaction, it is a bypass transaction. So first we have to raise an invoice to Bombay party. The Bombay party will raise an invoice to Gujarat party, and this is how the Gujarat party will get the ITC of this particular transaction. I hope this is clear to everybody. Bill to ship to, because it's very simple and there's a lot of complication in the book when you read. So this is a graphical presentation which I'm trying to create over here, correct? So we understood as far as build provisions are concerned, as far as goods are concerned, we first saw that movement of supply, where the supply of goods involved movement of goods, then the destination where then the location of the goods at the time of which the movement of goods terminates is the place of supply. As far as bill to ship is concerned, whether no doubt the goods is going to another place, like in our example, it is going to Gujarat, but when the supplier is raising an invoice, for him, the place of supply or the consumption is the principal place of the third person who is the bill to party, because he is sending those goods on behalf of the third party. Correct? Correct. Then, where supply does not involve movement of goods, correct? Where there's a no movement of goods, in this scenario, what will happen? Location of the goods at the time of delivery of recipient, correct? जहां पे goods है वही location हो जाएगा place of supply, correct? So we'll look into the example of this. A in Mumbai has given goods on lease basis to B in Delhi. Already उसने lease पे कुछ सामान दे रखा है दिल्ली वाले को. A का सामान है. He has given his machinery on lease on to a Delhi customer client B. After some time, the lessee B decides to purchase the goods. So lessee says, okay boss, I am okay with the machinery. I want to purchase these goods now. So let's do a sale transaction. Now the supply takes place by way of change of title, right? And no movement is required as the goods are already with the buyer, correct? The goods are already at the buyer's location only, which is at the location of B in Delhi. So there's just a transfer of title which is happening, correct? So in this scenario, there's no movement of goods that is happening. So the place of supply is Delhi. That is the location of the goods at the time of delivery. I hope this is clear. We have understood section 10(1)(c) as well. Then we have section 10(1)(d), which talks about where goods are assembled or installed at site. So first we saw when there's a movement of goods. Second, we saw when there's a movement of goods, but the consumption is at a different place on the direction of the buyer. Third, we saw when there's no movement of goods. Fourth, we are seeing that when goods are assembled installed at a site, there's a particular site and we install a particular plants and machinery. So what will be the consumption at that situation, and what will be the place of supply? So place of supply is a place of such installation or assembly. जहाँ पे मेरा installation हो रहा है, plant and machinery erection हो रहा है, that is the place of supply, and accordingly I will put CGST, SGST or IGST on my invoice, correct? Where goods are supplied on a board or conveyance. जो मैं जहाँ पे board or conveyance होता है, basically when there is a movement of persons or goods, and वहाँ पे मैं अगर कुछ goods supply कर रहा हूँ, then 10(1)(e), what will be the place of supply? Place of supply is the location at which goods are taken on board, correct? We'll look at an example of this to understand more in the clarity. Right. For instance, if goods are taken on board at a Vadodara में जाके मैं goods कुछ load कर रहा हूँ on Rajdhani Express from Bombay to Delhi. There's a Rajdhani Express which is going from Bombay to Delhi, and there are certain goods which I'm loading onto that train in Baroda. The place of supply shall be Baroda and not the Gujarat, correct? Because the loading is happening at the particular place, right? So, however, as far as services, we're talking in terms of goods, but I'll also take you through the supply of service in this scenario. However, in respect of service, the place of supply shall be the location of the first scheduled point of departure of the conveyance for the journey. We'll look, so in case of supply of service, it will be the initial starting point from where the supply started. We'll look into it more in detail when we discuss about the place of supply of service, correct? So this is the example of onboarding where the goods are supplied on board a conveyance. Then we have where the place of supply of goods cannot be determined, right? So if there's a certain situation where the place of supply of goods cannot be determined as per these provisions of section 10(1), then what will be the place of supply? Those will be prescribed, and whenever there's a word called prescribed into the CGST Act, IGST Act, there were specific rules in those regards, and we have to follow those rules to identify the place of supply. I hope this place of supply of goods within transaction within India is clear to everybody. There are 5 scenarios into this. First, when there's movement of goods. Second, when there's movement of goods, but the goods are not going to the recipient, to the buyer, but it is going to some another person, then that is a bill to ship to transaction. Third, when there's no supply of goods at all, there's no movement of goods at all, but the supply is happening through the sale of transfer of title. Fourth, when there's an installation of any plant and machinery happening. Fifth, when the goods are supplied on a board or conveyance. आप जो भी conveyance flight हो गया, air हो गया, जहाँ भी board हो रहा है, those scenario. And section 10(2) speaks about where you cannot identify place of supply. In terms of section 10(1), there will be certain rules prescribed into the act, and you have to follow those rules to identify the place of supply, and accordingly you identify the place of consumption, and accordingly you put IGST or CGST and SGST on your invoice. I hope this is clear to everybody. Any queries till now? Virag, I cannot see this thing. Virag? Hello, Virag, can you hear me? Am I audible? Please reply on the chat box, please. Okay, cool. So I'm audible, I think, correct? Because there's a problem in this query box. I get very little query to read here. Right. So we have understood the movement of goods in case the transaction is happening within India. Now we move further and we move to transactions in case of goods, but where the transaction is happening with different countries, correct? So we'll read section 11 of this. So section 11 have section 11A and 11B. 11B, sorry, it is 11B. By mistake written as 11A. So 11A talks about goods imported into India. Then the location of the importer will be the place of supply, correct? And where the location where the goods are exported from India, then the location will be outside India. So let us understand the place of supply in case of importer with an example here. An importer from Jaipur, Rajasthan, imports goods from China through Mumbai Air Cargo and declared the GST of Rajasthan, correct? जो importer है जयपुर का, goods मंगा रहा है चाइना से, कार्गो आ रहा है उसका बॉम्बे में, and he is from Rajasthan. The place of supply of goods shall be Rajasthan. Thus, the state tax component of the integrated tax would accrue as Rajasthan, correct? So what will be the this thing here is Rajasthan will be the place of supply in this scenario. We move further, and in case of export of goods, it is very simple that जो बाहर जा रहा है वहां पे जा रहा है. Now there's a challenge here which we are trying to understand is the place of supply of services. As we've already understood in the first slide where we spoke about that identifying the place of consumption in case of goods is not a challenge. We can identify because it's a tangible thing. But in case of supply of service, there are certain factors which create certain challenges for us to identify the actual consumption where it is happening, correct? So we'll go through it and we'll try to understand that if the transaction is happening within India in case of supply of services where both the supplier and recipient is in India, what provisions are there and how do we identify the place of supply, and then how do we apply the CGST SGST into that, correct? So I'll take you through that provision now. So do you want me to summarize this section? One second. Provision part, let us just summarize into this. So as far as this section 10 was concerned, it was relating to the transaction within India and it was place of supply of goods, correct? So 10.1 spoke to us regarding where the supply involves movement of goods, correct? The movement can be caused by supplier, recipient, or any. Then there's an illustration given to that. We understood that it can be through anybody. So in this scenario, the place of supply will be location of good at the time at which the movement of goods terminate for delivery to recipient, correct? Then we understood where the goods are delivered by supplier to a recipient on the direction of third person. That means the third person in the bill to party. We understood the complete detailed provision of that. In this scenario, we understood that the principal place of the third person will be the place of supply and the supplier will accordingly raise the invoice. Then we saw 10.1c, which talks about where supply does not involve movement of goods. In this, we understood with an example that the goods are lying with already with somebody and as a lease, and now he is trying to, and now he wants to buy those goods. So there's no movement of goods involved here, and this mere transfer of transaction is a mere transfer of title, correct? Then we saw assembly or installation at site. Then we saw supplying goods on a board of on a board of conveyance. So in this also we read with an example. Then we saw place of supply and goods cannot be determined as per 10.1. Then there will be certain rules which we have to follow, which will be prescribed. Then we understood in case of goods import and export, section 11. Then now we are moving to understand the place of supply in case of service where location of supplier or recipient is in India. So now I will take you to this section 12 where we will read the place of service. So section 12 we'll be reading is section 12 of IGST Act, place of service where location of supplier and recipient is in India, correct? Virat, can you hear me? Okay, I think Virag is little tied up somewhere. I hope everybody can hear me because I am not able to understand whether you guys are can hear me or not. Okay, so now we are moving to place of supply of services where the transaction is happening within India, correct? So we have certain sections here. We'll just first understand the section. We have a basic principle which is given in place of supply of service in general, right? अगर general क्या होगा, general तौर पे क्या होएगा, that is what is given in section 12.2. Then we have place of supply in case of an immovable property. Then we have place of supply in case of an service is provided for a personal use. Then service, provision of service, place of supply, training and performance appraisal, कोई training दिया मैंने, for any admission to any events. Then organization of any cultural events or this thing. Then transportation of goods including by mail or courier, goods transportation जो हो रहा है. Then passenger transportation. So 12.8 talks about goods transportation. 12.9 talks about passenger transportation. 12.10 talks about services on board a conveyance such as vessels, aircraft, trains, or motor vehicle. 12.11 talks about the telecom, data, broadcasting, cable, DTH, those kind of services. 12.12 talks about the banking and other financial services including stock broking, correct? 12.13 because see we need to understand this in these scenarios services में जहां पे मैंने आपको बोला कि the place of recipient is not fixed, the place of service provider is also not fixed. So what will be the place of supply of service? That is why it is all creating such kind of situations in here. Suppose you're using a mobile app to transact on the for equity buying and selling, you use a Zerodha application. So what is happening in this scenario? Zerodha is registered somewhere else. You are a registered consumer somewhere else. Now you are traveling to your hometown and you register and you do the transaction there. So where will be the place of supply in a particular transaction? So this is what is given in section 12.12. Then similar is the insurance service, advertisement to the government authority, correct? So we'll first understand the place of supply of service in general. So when we talking about in general place of supply of service, ये basic thumb rule हम create करना चाह रहे हैं कि place of supply क्या होगा. So supply can happen to two persons, either it can happen to B2B or it can happen to B2C, correct? So when we're talking about a registered tax person, right, हमने B2B को दिया. So what will be the place of supply in case of services in general? It will be the location of the recipient, correct? If we are giving it to B2C, अगर हम B2C को दे रहे हैं तो then there are two situations, या तो B2C का registered address हमारे पास है या हमारे पास उसका एड्रेस नहीं है. If it is given to आम जनता, right? If we have the address on record, then the place of supply will be the location of the recipient and not the location of the supplier. But if we do not have addresses on record, then it will be the location of the supplier. So this is the basic thumb rule in case of identifying place of supplier, place of supply in case of supply of services within India. If it is happening B2B with the registered taxpayers, then the location of the recipient. If it is B2C, then there's two situation again which comes up. If the addresses are on record, then the location of recipient. If the addresses are not on record, then the location of the supplier, correct? So this is the basic thumb rule which we need to understand. B2B, location of recipient. B2B, B2C, if the address is available, location of recipient. If address is not available, location of the supplier. Because अगर address नहीं है तो हमको क्या कैसे identify करेंगे कहाँ supply हो रहा है? So we identify that the supply is happening from our own place, correct? So the location of a supplier. Now there can be challenge where a service is given in case. Now we move to section 12.3, which is talking about the services provided in case of immovable property, right? So what can be the transactions where I can provide service to immovable property? It should be directly related services by architect, interior designer, surveyors, engineer, etc., which is specifically happening for that particular immovable property, correct? Then this lodging service which is given for organizing any marriage, reception, official, cultural, religious, or business function, or any ancillary of above three, correct? So in this scenario, what will be the place of supply? So in this scenario, suppose if there's a destination wedding happening, correct, or an architect is giving a service, correct? So what will happen? So location of service, the consumption कहाँ पे हो रहा है इसका? We need to identify that. So where the consumption is happening, location at which the immovable property or the boat is located or intended to be located, correct? जहाँ पे property होगा वहीं consumption हो रहा है. Now if the property is, suppose the interior designer का मैंने architect का मैंने ये ले लिया है, and this is happening through so will happening at we have a hotel at different locations. Then what will the scenario? And if the location of the one of the thing is happening outside India, so what will the scenario? So we'll understand this with an example here. So we'll read you the first example. If there's a direct services and it is happening at the immovable property, correct? So we'll look at an example into this. One second. Okay.
Yes, Ankit bhai, please
Right.
continue.
Thank you. Thank you. So everybody understanding it, thank you for this. So we'll look at the example. Give me a moment. I think there's some issue. Just hang on. I'll just take 2 minutes to come back. So you guys can take a break and come back. Yes, guys. Can you hear me now? Virat, can you hear me?
Ankit bhai, we can hear you. Please continue.
And the screen is shared, correct?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. Sorry, there was some technical issue at my end for screen sharing. So let me just take you again through what we were discussing. We were discussing in regards to section 1213, which is talking about the services at the immutable property directly related, and we were trying to look at some of the examples into it, correct? So we'll look at the first example. What is the supply of service of accommodation services in homestays in Goa? Right, if you're going to stay in a homestay in Goa, what will be the place of supply? The place of supply shall be Goa, the location of the homestay. Clear है? आप ये नहीं बोल सकते कि बॉस मैं बॉम्बे से आया हूँ, रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन हूँ, गोवा में आप मैं रह रहा हूँ, तो यू गिव मी एन इनवॉइस फॉर IGST, because according to him the place of supply is Goa and he will raise an invoice for CGST, SGST, and where this SGST is also for the state of Goa and not for the state of Maharashtra. So that CGST, SGST, if it is there in your invoice and you submit that invoice to your Bombay office, and by default or by mistake your accountant takes the ITC of that CGST, SGST, then you will not get the you are not eligible to take that ITC, because that is an CGST, SGST of Gujarat and not the CGST, SGST of Maharashtra. Please keep this in mind. there are a lot of goof ups which happen in this, which will raise a lot of issue during the assessment, correct? Then where the location of supply of for immovable property is for more than one location, right? So we'll read this with an example. Suppose a road is constructed from Delhi to Mumbai, covering multiple states, correct? Bombay से Delhi road Delhi से Bombay road बन रहा है, so it will be covering multiple states for making this particular service or road. What will be the place of supply? Where the immovable property is located in more than one state, the supply of service shall be treated as made in each of the state in proportion of the value of service separately collected or determined in terms of the contract, correct? अगर contract के अंदर specifically mention हो रहा है कि एक state का इतना value है, दूसरे state का इतना value है, तीसरे state का इतना value है, then so accordingly we'll raise an invoice and those will be the place of supply. I'll read once again. Where the immovable property is located in more than one state, the supply of service shall be treated as made in each of the states, correct? हमने हर एक स्टेट में supply of service किया in proportion to value of services separately collected or determined in terms of contract. अगर कॉन्ट्रैक्ट में ऐसा लिखा हुआ है कि बॉस अगर आपने गुजरात फिनिश कर दिया तो आपको इतना वैल्यू मिलेगा, आपने दिल्ली फिनिश कर दिया तो आपको इतना वैल्यू मिलेगा, आपने राजस्थान फिनिश कर दिया तो आपको इतना वैल्यू मिलेगा. So if it is specifically mentioned in the contract, so that will be the that proportion of the value of supply will be to that particular state, correct? Or agreement entered into in this regard. In the absence of such contract or agreement on such other reasonable basis as may be prescribed in this behalf. अगर agreement के अंदर नहीं लिखा हुआ है, so और अगर prescribed है act और rule के अंदर, so accordingly we'll have to identify this thing. This is the explanation given in the clause 12(3) of the IGST Act, correct? So if the service is related to immovable property and the service is flowing through a lot of state, we have understood how we'll calculate the place of supply, right? Now we look into another example where location. Look into example that what is the place of location of recipient, correct? What is the place of supply in respect of a service of interior decorator in relation to a place in Nepal? नेपाल में पैलेस बन रहा है, इंटीरियर डिजाइनर फ्रॉम मुंबई है और जो नेपाल में जो पैलेस बनाने का काम मिला है वो दिल्ली वाले किसी बंदे को मिला है, करेक्ट? सो हमारा जो इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी है वो है हमारा नेपाल में, जो उसको बनाने वाला है वो है हमारा दिल्ली में और जो इंटीरियर डिजाइनर है वो है बॉम्बे में. सो जो बॉम्बे वाला बंदा जो सप्लाई कर रहा है अपना सर्विस का, where will be the place of service for him? The place of service supply shall be the location of the recipient, that is Delhi, because जो बॉम्बे वाला बंदा है वो सप्लाई कर रहा है दिल्ली वाले बंदे को and is just giving a design for that palace to be made in Kathmandu, Nepal, correct? So in this scenario the place of supply will be the recipient, correct? So this is what is in regards to the place of supply of immovable property. Now we move to the section 12(4), which is talking about the personal related kind of supplies, which can be restaurant and catering services, personal grooming services, fitness, beauty treatment, health including cosmetic and plastic surgery. So in this scenario, if I am giving any of these services, restaurant or catering, personal grooming, fitness, beauty treatment, health including cosmetic or plastic surgery, if I am giving any of these services, then my place of supply is location where the services are actually performed, correct? Where the services have been actually performed will be the place of supply, and accordingly there will be CGST SGST applicability. So we'll take it with an example. A film star from Mumbai gets into cosmetic surgery done in hospital in Delhi. What should be the place of supply for the Delhi hospital, correct? अगर बॉम्बे का फिल्म स्टार है, दिल्ली जाता है, कॉस्मेटिक सर्जरी कराता है, so what will be the place of supply? The place of supply shall be based on the principle of place of performance and shall be Delhi, correct? As per section 12(4) of IGST Act. Now we look into another example. Eating of food in restaurant, it is a composite supply, correct? हम जो खाना खाते हैं वो composite supply है. कोई रेस्टोरेंट में जाके if you're from Bombay and if you're eating food in Delhi, correct? तो क्या होएगा इस केस में? So supply. So now it is question whether it is supply of goods or supply of service first. Composite supply है, हमको ये तो पता चल गया. So first we have to identify whether it is supply of goods or it is supply of service. So to identify whether it is supply of goods or it is supply of service, we have to go in Schedule 2 of Section 7 of the CGST Act, which tells us that whether it is supply of service or supply of goods. So once we read that, we'll understand that it is supply of service. So once we understand it is supply of service, then we come to Section 12 of IGST Act to identify the place of supply. So, and as per the IGST Act, Section 12(4), the place of supply is location where the services are actually performed. So the location will be of the actually performed where it is happening. So he will have to apply the CGST, SGST, and he will not apply the IGST. Correct? Till here. Then we move to Section 12(5) in case of supply of service within India and the services relating to training and performance appraisal. Here, this supply can be given B2B and B2C. So as far as B2B is concerned, we look into an example. What will be the place of supply in case of training services provided in Goa? ठीक है, हम training service provide कर रहे हैं गोवा में. We are a performance training company and we are giving supply to a company which is conducting this training in Goa. Suppose if Mahindra and Mahindra Limited, Mumbai, conducts the training for its employees at Goa, the place of supply will be the place of the company which is giving you the assignment to do this particular transaction. So the place of supply will be Bombay and not Goa because it is a B2B transaction. When provided to a person other than a registered person, the place of supply shall be the location where the services are actually performed, that is Goa. Here we are giving a particular service to not a particular individual, but we are giving a service to a company called Mahindra and Mahindra. And where is Mahindra and Mahindra registered? Mahindra and Mahindra registered in Bombay. So the place of supply in this scenario will be Bombay, and accordingly the taxability will be there. And in case we're giving it to an individual supplier, individual person, then location of where the service is performed, that is Goa. Right? Now we look into section. So we have understood 4 sections till now. What is in general principle to identify place of supply in case of services within India, where supplier, provider and recipient both are in India. 12(3) where it is related to immovable property. 12(4) it is related to personal services. 12(5) it is related to training and performance appraisal. Now we move on to admissions. Now what is admission? Admission to any cultural event, artistic event, sporting event, scientific event, educational event, entertainment event, amusement park, or any other place or services ancillary thereof. So what will be the place of supply? Where event is actually held or such other place where the park or such other place is located. Correct? हम है admission देने वाले, हम ticket, हम basically we are supplying a service of granting an admission to a particular cultural event, artistic event, sporting, scientific. So the place of supply will be where the park or such is located or where the event is happening. Correct? And even if in the same transaction where the location of supplier or recipient is outside India, the same will be the place of supply for export also. Correct? Now we move to understand the organizing. हम तो यहाँ पे admission दे रहे थे किसी को कि आप ये event में जाके enter कर सकते हो. Then now we are organizing a certain event. Correct? We are an organizer. So what will happen? The event can be organized inside India or outside India. So if it is organized outside India, then it will be the location of the recipient which will decide what is the place of supply. Correct? And we have understood what is the location of recipient here in B2B and in B2C transaction in the general rule 12(2). If you're organizing an event outside India, outside India, we understood the place of supply will be the location of recipient. Correct? If we are organizing an event inside India and if the event is for B2B, the location will be an location of recipient. If it is for B2C, it will be the place of event held. Correct? So within India हमको मालूम है कि बस place of event held हो जाएगा, तो वहां पे हम ले लेंगे supply. And if it is for the B2B, हमको location of recipient पता है, then it will be a place of supply. Correct? And if it is happening outside India, so outside India, very clear cut, it will be the location of recipient for whom we are organizing the event, that will be the place of supply. Then we move on to section 12.8, which is talking to us, which is explaining to us transportation of goods including by mail or courier. Correct? अभी हम goods की बात करेंगे, transportation of goods की बात करेंगे. So transportation of goods B2B के अंदर होगा location of the recipient, that will understand. Transportation of goods in case of B2C, location of service provider, place at which goods are handed over for transportation. Correct? अभी B2B है और B2C है. So first we'll understand what is B2C transaction. मेरा एक ट्रांसपोर्टेशन एजेंसी है, मेरा एक कुरियर एजेंसी है, which have branches all over India. Correct? So अगर दिल्ली में कोई, बॉम्बे में कोई, सपोज बॉम्बे में कोई पर्सन आके मेरे को बोलता है कि बॉस ये गुड्स, ये पार्सल को आपको बॉम्बे सप्लाई करना है, and he is not a registered person. Correct? So in this scenario, what will be the place of service for me? Bombay, my office, because he's not a registered person. Correct? And as far as it is a B2B transaction, if it is a B2B transaction, in this thing there can be two scenarios. Correct? I'll take you through an example here. Transporter is from Delhi, registered supplier is from Delhi, registered receiver is in Mumbai. Correct? ट्रांसपोर्टर कहाँ का है? दिल्ली का है. सप्लायर कहाँ का है? दिल्ली का है. रजिस्टर्ड रिसीवर कहाँ का है? बॉम्बे का है. करेक्ट? सो द सप्लायर हैज टू सेंड द गुड्स टू बॉम्बे through a transporter in Delhi. Correct? So in the above case, all three parties are registered. So two scenarios can come. First, payment is made by registered supplier in Delhi to the transporter in Delhi. Right? So basically Delhi वाले बंदे ने, जो सप्लायर है, उसने ट्रांसपोर्टर को पेमेंट कर दिया. So the transporter will raise an invoice to the Delhi supplier. So accordingly, he will raise an invoice of CGST, SGST. Second scenario, where the payment is made by a registered recipient in Mumbai to the transporter in Delhi. So in this scenario, the payment is being made by the receiver in Bombay. So the invoice will come to the recipient in Bombay by the transporter with an IGST. Correct? I hope this is clear with an example. कि अगर B2B होगा तो जो लोकेशन ऑफ रेसिपिएंट होगा, तो फर्स्ट एग्जांपल में हमारा रेसिपिएंट ऑफ, भले वो गुड्स जा रहा है बॉम्बे, बट सर्विस किसने रिसीव की वहां पे? जिसने पेमेंट दिया. पेमेंट किसने दिया? दिल्ली वाले बंदे ने. सेकंड सिनेरियो में गुड्स भले बॉम्बे आ रहा है, बट सर्विस किसने रिसीव किया? किसके बिहाफ पे आ रहा है? कौन पेमेंट कर रहा है? बॉम्बे वाला पर्सन. सो आईजीएसटी लग के आएगा. आई होप दिस इज क्लियर. This will look when we're looking about the export of services and exportation of goods, including by mail or service courier. Correct? So we'll skip this for this point of time. So we understood as far as transportation of goods are concerned, including by mail or courier, then there will be B2B, location of recipient, B2C, location of service provider. Correct? Now we'll understand transportation services of passengers. Correct? B2B होगा तो location of recipient, B2C होगा तो passenger embarks on the conveyance. Correct? So we'll see B2C transaction first with an example. Suppose a ticket or pass for anywhere travel in India is issued by Air India to a person. Correct? Air India ने एक पास दे दिया कि बॉस आप कहीं भी जाके ट्रैवल कर सकते हो, कभी भी जाके ट्रैवल कर सकते हो. So what will be the place of supply in this scenario? In the above case, the place of embarkation will not be available at the time of issue of invoice, as the right to passage is for future use. Correct? आज मेरे को पता नहीं है कि वो बंदा कहाँ से उसको यूज करने वाला है. Correct? Accordingly, place of supply cannot be the place of embarkation. In such cases, the default rule shall apply the provisional clause of section 12(9) of IGST. What is the default rule? अगर वो B2B है तो मेरे को उसका देना है. B2C है, उसका अगर एड्रेस मेरे पास रिकॉर्ड में है तो रेसिपिएंट का होगा, एड्रेस रिकॉर्ड पे नहीं तो सप्लायर का होगा. क्लियर है यहाँ पे? So we look an example B2B के अंदर. What will be the place of supply of passenger transportation service if a person travels from Bombay to Delhi and back to Mumbai. It's a round ticket, correct? Bombay to Delhi and wapas back to Bombay. Answer: if the person is registered, the place of supply shall be the location of the recipient, the general rule which we know. If the person is not registered, the place of supply for the forward journey from Bombay to Delhi shall be Mumbai, the place where he embarks. However, for the return journey, the place of supply shall be Delhi, as the return journey has to be treated separate journey as per the explanation given to clause 12(9) of IGST Act. करेक्ट है यहाँ पे? तो मैं पैसेंजर ट्रांसपोर्टेशन सर्विस दे रहा हूँ. मेरा सर्विस ये है कि मैं कोई पैसेंजर को बॉम्बे से दिल्ली ले जा रहा हूँ और वापस ब्रिंगिंग हिम बैक टू बॉम्बे. करेक्ट? इफ इज ए रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन, तो मेरे पास उसका इनवॉइस आ जाएगा, उसका डिटेल्स आ रहा है मेरे पास. सो इफ द पर्सन इज रजिस्टर्ड, द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई शैल बी द लोकेशन ऑफ द रेसिपिएंट. करेक्ट? इफ द पर्सन इज नॉट अ रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन, तो क्या मैं चेक करूंगा कि वो ही कम्स इनटू B2C कैटेगरी. तो B2C कैटेगरी के अंदर क्या बोलता है? वेर ही एम्बार्क्स द कन्वेंस फर्स्ट, जहां पे वो पहले कन्वेंस में चढ़ता है. करेक्ट? if a person is not registered, the place of supply for the forward journey from Bombay to Delhi shall be Bombay, the place where he embarks. Correct? यहाँ पे. And when we talking about return journey for B2C, तो उसके अंदर place of supply होगा Delhi. Correct? Because the return journey have to be treated separately. Correct. Now we will see, हमने goods transportation देख लिया, passenger transportation देख लिया. Now we'll come to the next point, which is 12(10), which is talking about services given on board a conveyance such as vessels, aircraft, trains और motor vehicle. मैं उसमें कुछ सर्विस दे रहा हूँ. सिंपल है, location of first scheduled point of the departure of the conveyance for the journey. Clear? Then we come to section 12(11), which is like the services by telecom company, data, mobile data, broadcasting, cable, DTH. When these are the service providers, and they are giving you certain services. So location where it is installed for receipt of services is the place of supply. Correct? जहाँ पे इंस्टॉल हो गया, मेरा DTH का बोर्ड कहाँ, DTH का जो बॉक्स है कहाँ इंस्टॉल हुआ है, मेरा वाईफाई का जो राउटर है कहाँ इंस्टॉल हुआ है, राइट, मेरा जो लैंडलाइन है वो कहाँ इंस्टॉल हुआ है. So that will be the place of receipt of service. That will be the place where the receipt of service or consumption of service, and that will be the place of supply. Correct? So here, because as far as mobile data is concerned, so mobile connection is concerned, sorry. So the mobile connection, मैं बॉम्बे में connection लेता हूँ, but I am going to Delhi, I am going to Gujarat, I am going to various other states in India. So what will be the place of supply? So we have to identify in two scenarios, if it is a postpaid or a prepaid. Correct? If it is a postpaid, तो मेरे को bill आने वाला है at the end of the month, so it is a location of receiver. If it is a prepaid, तो मेरे पास bill तो नहीं आने वाला, but मैंने वहां से कुछ service purchase कर लिया, and that service is that I am recharging my phone and I can use the phone. So the location of the sale is the place of service in case of prepaid vouchers. Prepaid recharge through internet. Now internet पे recharge करते हैं हम, तो क्या होगा? If location of recipient is on records, then that will be the place of supply. If it is not on record, we need to look into that. I just missed it. International supplies location of a recipient. Correct? If it is so I have just missed it, so I'll tell you, mobile recharge through internet. If it is through internet and the location of recipient is in record, then we'll take that as place of supply. If the location of recipient is not on records, then we take it as a place of supplier. Place of supplier of service is the place of supply, and accordingly the tax will be applicable. International supplies location of recipient. मैं international में मैं roaming में जा रहा हूँ and I'm recharging my cell phone, but मैं किसके लिए कर रहा हूँ? recipient कौन है यहाँ पे? मेरा इंडिया में है, तो I'll be a recipient. Correct? B2B and B2C again. Correct? So now till now we have read around section 12(11). We have 3 more sections left here, which is talking about the banking and other financial services, insurance services, and advertisement to government. Let us just finish these three sections, and I'll revise again the section 12 provisions with you all, so that you can recap everything what we have done. So for banking and other financial services, including stock broking services, right? So similar है, अगर मैं registered customer को दे रहा हूँ तो location of recipient of service, if मैं walk-in customers को दे रहा हूँ तो location of supplier हो जाएगा, correct? So we'll look at it with an example here. A person in Goa, ठीक है, buys shares from the broker in Delhi. मैं गोवा में रहता हूँ, मेरा broker है दिल्ली में, right? On NSE, which is in Bombay, exchange है Bombay में. What is the place of supply here? Answer: the place of supply shall be the location of recipient of service on the records of the supplier of service. So Goa shall be the place of supply, correct? Walk-in customers हैं. A person from Mumbai goes to Kulu Manali and takes some services from ICICI Bank in Manali. ठीक है, मैं कुल्लू मनाली, मैं बॉम्बे का बंदा हूँ. I am going to for a holiday in Kulu Manali. I go to ICICI Bank to take some services. So what will be the place of supply for the ICICI Bank there? If the services is not linked to the account of person, the place of supply should be Kulu. That is the location of supplier of service. However, if the service is linked to the account of the person, the place of supply shall be the Mumbai, the location of the recipient of the records of the supplier. Correct है? मैं randomly कुछ service के लिए जा रहा हूँ वहाँ पे, and if he's charging me some service charge, and I'm not the account holder of ICICI Bank anywhere in India or in Bombay, then the place of supply for the Kulu branch will be Kulu. But if I'm a registered account holder and I take some services from the ICICI Bank in Kulu, so in that scenario the place of supply will be Bombay, because मेरे को Bombay में वो facility दी गई है कि I can use the services anywhere in India, correct? So here the place of supply is in the place of the recipient, which is on the records, correct? Simple है. I hope everybody is in line, in sync with me what I'm trying to explain. Similar is the case of insurance service. B2B है तो location of recipient, B2C है तो location of recipient on records of the supplier, और नहीं होगा तो supplier का. We'll see an example for this also. A person from Gurgaon travels by Air India flight from Bombay to Delhi. ठीक है, मैं गुड़गांव का रहने वाला हूँ, बॉम्बे कुछ काम के लिए आया था और मैं बॉम्बे से दिल्ली वापस जा रहा हूँ. And gets his travel insurance done separately in Bombay. तो मैं जाते जाते हम सोच रहा हूँ कि I'll take a travel insurance. What will be the place of supply of insurance service? Correct? इंश्योरेंस पे जीएसटी लगता है तो उसमें प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई क्या होगा? The location of the recipient of service on the records of the supplier of insurance service shall be the place of supply. ठीक है, the location of the recipient of service, correct? So Gurgaon shall be the place of supply, correct? क्योंकि ये सर्विस में दे रहा हूँ, किसके लिए दे रहा हूँ? किसके लिए दे रहा हूँ मैं? गुड़गांव वाले बंदे के लिए. और जब मैं इंश्योरेंस सर्विस दूंगा तो आई बी टेकिंग ऑल दिस डिटेल्स. तो उसको बिना डिटेल्स का तो मैं इंश्योरेंस सर्विस नहीं दे सकता हूँ. तो मेरे पास उसका डिटेल्स आ रहा है, तो डिटेल्स आ रहा है, दैट मींस इट विल बी द ऑन रिकॉर्ड्स डिटेल आई हैव, so that will be the location of the supplier, correct? Simple with logic. Then we have advertisement to government authorities. अगर मेरा एक ही ad है which I am giving to the government authorities which they are running in all the state, the location of each such state according to the agreement which we have entered into will be the place of supply. Correct है यहाँ तक? Let me go one second. Right. So we'll revise the whole provision here. So we have read the following provisions. I'll take you again. Section 12.2, which is I'll do one second. Correct. So we'll see how many provisions we have seen and what are the provisions which we have seen. We have seen in general principle, we have seen principle in regards to immutable property, we have seen the place of supply if it is related to any personal services, we have seen place of supply if it is in relation to training and performance appraisal. Specifically, we have seen the place of supply if it is for admission to any event. We have seen a place of supply if it is for organizing any cultural or active cultural event or exhibition. We have seen transportation of goods, we have seen transportation of passenger, we have seen supply on board, we have seen by the telecom data company, broadcasting company, and cable DTH. We have seen section 12 by the banking and other financial services. We have seen section 1230, which is talking about the insurance service, and we have seen advertisement to the government. I hope this is clear to everybody. I know this is a little daunting because there's too many things to consume here. Correct. So the basic funda remains simple that अगर मेरे को recipient के बारे में पता है तो उसका सर्विस हो जाएगा, जो उसका जो लोकेशन है वो हो जाएगा. अगर उसके बारे में नहीं पता है तो जो मेरा सप्लायर है उसका हो जाएगा. इन जनरल प्रिंसिपल वो है. और उसके बाद सर्टेन कैटेगरीज ऑफ ट्रांजैक्शंस दिए गए हैं, उसमें स्पेसिफिकली कुछ ट्रांजैक्शंस मेंशन किए गए हैं, एंड अकॉर्डिंगली यू हैव टू आइडेंटिफाई द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई एंड देन यू रेज एन इनवॉइस. करेक्ट है यहाँ तक? So now we move on to the last leg of this particular place of supply, which is talking about IGST Act, place of supplier, where either the receiver or the supplier is outside India. Correct? Right. So what provisions, I'll just take you through this where we have left. So under provisions, we understood transactions within India. There are two types of transactions. One can be transactions within India and one can be transactions with different countries. One under transaction within India, we saw section 10, which is talking about the place of supply in relation to goods. And there we saw there can be movement of goods, there cannot be movement of goods. Supply where does not involve movement of goods. Supply where it is delivered directly to third party, where goods are assembled, where goods are supplied on board a conveyance, and goods cannot be determined होगा तो क्या होगा place of supply. Then we saw section 11, it spoke to us regarding the imports of good and exports of good. Then we understood section 12, which spoke to us regarding the place of supply of service, where location of supplier and recipient both is in India. Correct? Now we are moving to the last leg, which is talking to us about the section, and we also understood the bill to ship to transaction, which is specifically given. And now we are moving to understand the place of supply, where location of supplier or recipient is outside India. मतलब सर्विस देने वाला या सर्विस लेने वाला दोनों में से एक बंदा outside India है. So in this scenario, what will be my place of supply? Correct. So we'll move into that section now. So this is section 13 of IGST Act, which talks about the place of supply of service where location of supplier or recipient is outside India. Here we have a few sections which I'll take you through to understand what are the transactions we are covering here. The place of supply of service except the service specified in subsection 3 to 13. That means it is talking about in general principle क्या होगा, और section 3 से 13 के जो ट्रांजैक्शन है उसके लिए वो एप्लीकेबल नहीं होगा. So that means section 3, subsection 3, subsection 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 will have a separate understanding of place of supply, and in general there will be a separate place of supply which is given under the section 13(2). Correct. Then we have performance based transaction. अगर मेरा प्रोवाइडर या रिसीवर एक जन बाहर है तो इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी का ट्रांजैक्शन होगा, admission to or organization of. So these are basically the similar provision which can be provided to the recipient in India. यहाँ पे भी वही provisions है in general, और यहाँ पे सिनेरियो ये बन रहा है कि either the recipient is in India or the supplier is sorry, the recipient is out of India or the supplier is out of India, correct? वहां के केस में क्या था, सेक्शन 12 क्या बोल रहा था कि प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस वेयर बोथ द प्रोवाइडर एंड रिसीवर इज इन इंडिया. यहाँ पे either of the two can be in India or outside India, correct? So we'll have to understand this. So the points will be same, the transactions will be same. और इन जनरल प्रिंसिपल भी दे दिया हमको किस केस में क्या होगा, राइट? एडमिशन टू एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऑफ सप्लाइड एट मोर देन वन लोकेशन इंक्लूडिंग ऑफ अ टैक्सेबल टेरिटरी. ठीक है, मैंने मोर देन वन लोकेशन में सप्लाई कर दिया. वेयर वी हैव सीन एग्जांपल कि जहां पे रोड्स ट्रैवल और रोड्स का कंस्ट्रक्शन का काम मिला था हमको बॉम्बे से दिल्ली वाला. देन सप्लाइड इन मोर देन वन स्टेट और यूनियन टेरिटरी. फॉलोइंग सर्विसेज, कुछ स्पेसिफिक सर्विसेज दिए गए हैं इसके अंदर. ठीक है, बाय बैंकिंग, इंश्योरेंस, इंटरमीडियरी, एनबीएफसीज, करेक्ट? दैट विल लुक. Then transportation of goods, passenger transportation, supply of service on board a conveyance during a passenger. ठीक है, on board ये वाला हो जाएगा ये. Then we have online information and data access or retrieval service. Online जो services आते हैं मिलते हैं हमको, उस केस में क्या होएगा? Then we have, in order to prevent double taxation, this is section 13(3) which talks about in order to prevent double taxation or non-taxation of a supply of a service or for the uniformity of rules, the certain rules which has been provided, correct? Section 13(3) is basically covering up all the things जहाँ पे हमारा double taxation आएगा, because here we are trying to understand the situation where either a service provider or a recipient is situated outside India, correct? So let's read provision to provision by provision by one to one each of the provisions. Right. So section 13(2), which is a general principle in case of place of supply, we'll read that. So what is the general principle? Section 13(2) talks about the general principle shall be the location of the recipient of service. ठीक है, जो recipient of service होगा उसका location हम ले लेंगे जहाँ पे either the supplier is outside India or the recipient is outside India, or provided that where the location of recipient of service is not available in the ordinary course of business, अगर मेरे पास वो है ही नहीं, then the place of supply shall be the location of the supplier of service. ठीक है, अगर मैंने open webinar रख दिया है where I do not know कि बस place of supply क्या है मेरा, फॉरेन से कोई अटेंड कर रहा है, क्या कर रहा है, नहीं कर रहा है, where I do not know what is the place of supply of service, then मेरा क्या होगा, the location of the supplier of service will be the place of supply, correct? क्लियर है? तो जनरल प्रिंसिपल क्लियर है. अगर लोकेशन पता है रेसिपिएंट का तो वो लोकेशन हो जाएगा प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, लोकेशन नहीं पता है तो लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर हो जाएगा. क्लियर है? नाउ वी विल मूव ऑन टू द परफॉर्मेंस बेस्ड सर्विसेज, करेक्ट? तो परफॉर्मेंस बेस्ड के अंदर क्या होगा यहाँ पे कि बिकॉज सर्विसेज सप्लाइड इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ गुड्स, ठीक है, कोई गुड्स है उसके रिगार्डिंग में कुछ सर्विस दे रहा हूँ, which are required to be made physically available by the recipient of service to the supplier of service, ठीक है, or to a person acting on behalf of supplier of service in order to provide the services, करेक्ट है? तो मेरे पास कोई गुड्स है, वो मेरे को फिजिकली उसको देना पड़ेगा उसमें कुछ सर्विस परफॉर्म करने के लिए, तो उस केस में क्या होगा, करेक्ट? और सर्विसेज सप्लाइड टू एन इंडिविजुअल represented either as a recipient of service or a person acting on behalf of the recipient, which require the physical presence of the recipient of the or the person acting on his behalf with the supplier of service, correct है? तो physical performance करने के लिए physical goods का requirement है, correct? So the place of service will be the location where the services are actually performed, correct? Provided that when such services are provided from a remote location by way of electronic means, the place of supply shall be the location where the goods are situated at the time of supply of services. Now physical का मतलब ये नहीं कि physical tangibly available होना चाहिए, अगर मेरे को कोई remote service का access भी उसका मिल जाता है, so in this case the place of supply will be the location where the goods are situated at the time of supply of services, correct है? So suppose मैं और मेरा computer engineer है, we both are good friends and I have purchased the computer from the computer engineer and we are going on a business trip to outside India. We both are outside India correctly. तो उस केस में जो अगर मैं उसको गुड्स वहां पर मेरा लैपटॉप खराब हुआ and if it's performing its service, so in this scenario what will happen? So in this scenario what will happen कि both the things are outside India, so मेरे पास कुछ place of supply का लगाने की जरूरत ही नहीं है. But if his team is accessing my mobile and my laptop from through a team viewer or any desk and they're providing the service, तो इस केस में क्या होगा? तो जो मेरा सप्लाई लोकेशन वेयर द गुड्स आर सिचुएटेड होएगा, राइट है. तो मेरा गुड्स कहाँ सिचुएटेड है? आउटसाइड इंडिया सिचुएटेड है, तो मेरा सर्विसेज नहीं आएगा. सिमिलरली अगर मेरे पास मेरा लैपटॉप है, उसका सर्विस को मेरे को बाहर से मिल रहा है, then the supplier, then it will be the place of supply will be my place and accordingly will be the taxable, correct? We read with an example of this. A laptop at Mumbai is repaired remotely by a software engineer from Bangalore using a TeamViewer, correct है? बॉम्बे में का लैपटॉप TeamViewer वाले बंदा मेरे को रिपेयर करके दे रहा है. The place of supply shall be Mumbai, the place where the goods are located, correct है? तो performance based होएगा transaction, तो उसका जो goods का जो location है, that will be the place of supply in case if it is done remotely, and if it is done physically, then the place where the services are actually performed, correct? Now in regards to the immovable property, supplied directly in relation to, including services supplied in this regard by experts or estate agents, supply of accommodation by a hotel, inn, guest house, club or campsite by whatever name called, grant of right to use immovable property, service of carrying out coordination of construction work including that of architects, interior decorators, the place where the immovable property is located or intended to be located, correct है? मैंने अगर किसी का सर्विस लिया who is an architect from abroad and my hotel is in Jaipur, so क्या होगा? मेरे लिए place of supply क्या होएगा? That will be Jaipur, correct? So similarly in this scenario immovable property के केस में अगर मैं को सप्लाई दे रहा हूँ और मेरा अगर suppose I'm giving a supply directly to a hotel in Kathmandu, which we've seen in the previous example, then the place of supply will be the location where it is given, correct? Then we move on to admission to or organization of. So if I'm giving admission to any cultural, artistic, sporting event, or if any of the ancillary services of such event, then the place of supply where the event is actually held or such other place where the park or other such park place is located, that will be my place of supply, correct? In order to prevent double tax, now we move on to the next provision. Supplied at more than one location, including a location in the taxable territory. So what is the place of supply? Place of supply shall be the location in the taxable territory. अगर मैं बहुत सारे लोकेशन में दे रहा हूँ और एक उसमें टैक्सेबल टेरिटरी भी आ रहा है, then the suppose एक मेरा suppose एक कंपनी है इंडिया के अंदर and which have branches all over the world, and if I'm giving the supply of service to Indian company as well as to the foreign companies, then what will be the place of supply? The place of supply of the taxable territory जहाँ पे लोकेशन होगा, correct है? If the supply is more than one state or union territory, right? So place of supply of such service shall be taken as being in each of the respective states or union territory. जो हमने last example में देखा as per the agreement contract. Now we have following services by a banking company or a financial institution or a non-banking financial company to its account holder. ठीक है, account holder को मैं कुछ supply of service कर रहा हूँ, intermediate service दे रहा हूँ, or service consisting of hiring of means of transport including yachts but excluding the aircrafts and vessels up to a period of 1 month, correct है? मैं ये सर्विस प्रोवाइड कर रहा हूँ मेरे सर्विस रेसिपिएंट को who is outside India, right? So the place of service will be the location of the supplier, correct? तो मैं अगर मेरा मैं बैंक हूँ and if my client is from Dubai, correct, whether supplies by a banking company or a financial institution or an NBFC in Mumbai to its account holder in Dubai can be considered as export of service? No. The place of supply of such services, location of supplier and Therefore, these cannot be considered as export of service. In the present case, the supplier being located in Mumbai and place of supply also in Mumbai, these services will be taxed and CGST plus SGST would be levied. Clear है? So because हमारा ये हमको मालूम है कि supplier कहाँ पे है, so मेरे को जो invoice raise करना है, it will be of CGST, SGST. Therefore, we cannot call it as an export of service, and we have to apply the CGST, SGST. Now, what are intermediary services? We'll understand this. Intermediary means a broker, an agent, or any other person by whatever name called, who arranges or facilitates the supply of goods or services or both, or securities between two or more persons, but does not include a person who supply such goods or services or both or securities on his own account. खुद नहीं बेच रहा है, is a mediator. The place of supply for intermediary services will be the location of the supplier of service. ठीक है, जहाँ का supplier है उसको ही उसका ही जहाँ पे वो registered hai, that will be the place of supply. It is to be noted that this rule will apply only when either the supplier or recipient is located outside India. Correct? Now, services consisting of hiring means of transport. अगर मेरे पास कोई फॉरेन से बंदा आ रहा है और मैं उसको वो मेरे को बोलता है कि मेरे को कैब बुक करना है, आई हैव टू ट्रैवल टू इंडिया, आई एम अ ट्रैवल एजेंट, देयर इज अ क्लाइंट फ्रॉम दुबई, ही वांट्स टू ट्रैवल India in my car, so I'll book a cab for him for up to period of 1 month. Then what is the place of location of supply is my location, that is in Bombay. Correct? Then we move on to transportation of goods other than by way of mail or courier. So the place of supply will be the destination of such goods. Correct? जो उस goods का destination होगा, that will be the place of supply, जहाँ पे वो goods पहुँचने वाला है. So we'll lead with an example of this. For goods transportation via mail or courier, the default provision of section 13(2) will apply. That is the place of supply with the location of the recipient of service. Correct? If it is so 13(9) is talking about transportation of goods other than by way of mail or courier. So यहाँ पे क्या बोलता है, जहाँ पे वो goods पहुँचने वाला है, that will be the place of supply. But if it is transferred through mail or courier, then it will be the basically 13(2) which talks about अगर हमको recipient का पता है, then the place of supply will be the location of recipient. अगर नहीं पता है, then the place of supplier will be the place of supply. Correct? We'll read in detail about this once again. Let me just finish one or two provision and then I come back to that. Transportation of goods other than by way of mail or courier. Now, passenger transportation service. Place of service is the place where the passenger embarks on the conveyance for a continuous journey. ठीक है, तो foreigner आया है and he is going on board on the train or flight and from Bombay, so the place of supply will be Bombay. Correct? 13(1) supply of services provided on board a conveyance. वो बोर्ड पे तो हो गया, फ्लाइट तो चढ़ गया, ट्रेन तो चढ़ गया, during the course of a passenger transport operation, including services intended to be wholly or substantially consumed while on the board. वो सर्विसेज खाली फ्लाइट के लिए ही है. करेक्ट है, और या फ्लाइट ट्रेन के लिए ही है, बोर्ड तो कर लिया है. then what will be the place of supply? Place of supply will be the first scheduled point of departure of the conveyance for that particular journey, जहाँ पे वो first scheduled point है उसका departure का. करेक्ट है. Then supply of online information and data access or retrieval services. So what will be the place of supply is equal to location of the recipient of service. यहाँ पे simple है, जहाँ पे जो बंदा receive कर रहा है उसका जो location होगा, that will be the place of supply. We'll read in more in detail. The location of address. So यहाँ पे जो हम ये देख रहे हैं, place of supply is equal to location of recipient of service. Explanation दिया है, for the purpose of this subsection, person receiving such service shall be deemed one second. This sorry, the explanation for this, I was just having water. Explanation for the purpose of this subsection, person receiving such service shall be deemed to be located in the taxable territory if any two of the following non-contradictory conditions are satisfied. ये 7 conditions दिए हैं, उसमें से अगर कोई भी 2 condition satisfy हो जाता है, then it is deemed that he is located in the taxable territory. Correct? And accordingly जो उसका location होगा, that is considered as the place of supply. So what are the 7 conditions? We'll look into that. If I'm giving an online services, so the place of supply will be the place of recipient of services. उसके लिए ये 7 conditions दिए हैं. 7 में से अगर 2 कोई condition fulfill हो जाता है, then he will be considered that his place of recipient is in taxable territory. और अगर 7 में से 2 condition नहीं fulfill होते हैं, then it is considered it is not in the taxable territory and it is export of service. Correct? So what are 7 conditions? The location of addresses presented by the recipient of service through internet is in the taxable territory. जो मैं location of address provide कर रहा हूँ कि मेरे को सर्विस यहाँ पे चाहिए, अगर वो taxable territory के अंदर है तो the credit card or debit card or store value card or charge card or smart card or any other card by which the recipient of service settles the payment has been issued in the taxable territory. अगर मेरे पास डेबिट कार्ड क्रेडिट कार्ड इंडिया का है, करेक्ट है, the billing address of the recipient of service is in the taxable territory. मेरा लोकेशन जो बिलिंग का एड्रेस है वो मेरा टैक्सेबल टेरिटरी में है. हो सकता है कि मेरा प्रोविजन ऑफ रिसीविंग ऑफ सर्विस दूसरे टेरिटरी में हो सकता है, बट जो मेरा बिलिंग एड्रेस है वो मेरा आ जाता है टैक्सेबल टेरिटरी के अंदर. करेक्ट. द इंटरनेट प्रोटोकॉल एड्रेस ऑफ द डिवाइस used by the recipient of services in the taxable territory. जो प्रोटोकॉल है, दैट मींस आई एम इन इंडिया करेंटली, भले मैं बाहर का एनआरआई हूँ या फॉरेनर हूँ, बट मैं इंडिया में आके इंडिया का इंटरनेट यूज कर रहा हूँ, तो प्रोटोकॉल जो होगा वो टैक्सेबल टेरिटरी का यूज होने वाला है. करेक्ट है. द बैंक ऑफ द रेसिपिएंट ऑफ सर्विस इन विच द अकाउंट यूज फॉर पेमेंट इज मेंटेन्ड इज इन द टैक्सेबल टेरिटरी. बट मेरा यहाँ पे अकाउंट भी है तो भी, सॉरी, द कंट्री कोड ऑफ द सब्सक्राइबर आइडेंटिटी मॉड्यूल कार्ड used by the recipient of service of the taxable territory. कंट्री कोड जो है सब्सक्राइबर आइडेंटिटी का ऑन द मॉड्यूल कार्ड, बेसिकली जो मैं कंट्री कोड दे रहा हूँ 91 है क्या है. करेक्ट. द लोकेशन ऑफ द फिक्स्ड लैंडलाइन थ्रू विच द सर्विस इज रिसीव्ड बाय द रेसिपिएंट इज इन टैक्सेबल टेरिटरी. अगर कोई फिक्स्ड लैंडलाइन के थ्रू वो सर्विस रिसीव कर रहा है, ब्रॉडबैंड, करेक्ट है, देन सो आउट ऑफ द 7 कंडीशन, इफ 2 conditions are happening simultaneously, 2 conditions are getting fulfilled simultaneously. What are 7 condition? लोकेशन जहाँ पे सर्विस लेने वाला है, पेमेंट का मैकेनिज्म जिससे करने वाला है, बिलिंग एड्रेस जो है बंदे का रेसिपिएंट का, इंटरनेट अगर इंडिया प्रोटोकॉल जो है टैक्सेबल टेरिटरी का यूज कर रहा है, बैंक है रेसिपिएंट का अगर इंडिया टैक्सेबल टेरिटरी के अंदर, द कंट्री कोड अगर इंडिया का है, एंड द लोकेशन ऑफ द फिक्स्ड लैंडलाइन ब्रॉडबैंड का है. तो आउट ऑफ द 7 कंडीशन, इफ एनी 2 conditions are satisfied happening simultaneously, then he is deemed to be a person located in the taxable territory, और जो उसका location होगा that will be the place of supply where he is consuming the service, and accordingly will be the charge of CGST, SGST or IGST. Correct. And this is very simple because यहाँ पे बहुत सारा we are dealing with a transaction with where service provider or receiver is outside India. So a specific provision has been inserted in order to prevent double taxation or non-taxation of the supply of service, or for the uniform application of rules, the government shall have the power to notify any description of services or circumstances in which the place of supply shall be the place of effective use and enjoyment of services. By notification it can come out कि बस ये particular जो service है उसके जो place of supply होगा effective use वाला होगा या enjoyment of service वाला होगा. So this is what is talking about the place of supply in case where one of the person, that is the service provider or the service recipient is outside India. Correct. So यहाँ पे हमने कौन से provisions देखे. First was the general principle, then performance based. अगर मैं service provider इंडिया का है और performance कुछ कर रहा है foreigner company के लिए, foreigner मतलब one person who is outside India, तो क्या होगा scenario जहाँ पे फिजिकल रिक्वायरमेंट है और उस फिजिकली को मैं उसको थ्रू इंटरनेट भी देखता हूँ. देन वी अंडरस्टूड अबाउट द इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी, देन वी अंडरस्टूड अबाउट द एडमिशन टू और ऑर्गेनाइजेशन ऑफ, कोई फॉरेनर है टिकट बुक करता है, ही वांट्स टू अटेंड अ शो इन इंडिया एंड इफ इज बुकिंग द टिकट्स फ्रॉम अब्रॉड, सो इन दिस सिनेरियो क्या एप्लीकेशन होगा CGST SGST का. देन वी आल्सो अंडरस्टूड सप्लाइड एट मोर देन वन लोकेशन इंक्लूडिंग अ लोकेशन इन द टैक्सेबल टेरिटरी. सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विस कर रहा हूँ मैं, it is in more than one location, जहाँ पे एक टैक्सेबल टेरिटरी है और दूसरा नहीं है टैक्सेबल टेरिटरी, तो क्या होगा सप्लाइड इन मोर देन, सपोज आई एम अ सप्लायर ऑफ सर्विस फ्रॉम अब्रॉड टू अ कंपनी इन इंडिया, 13(6) की बात करते हैं तो, और जो मेरा place of supply होगा, it will the location of the taxable territory, correct? Then supplied in more than one state or union territory, that we also understood. Then we looked into services in regards to the banking, NBFCs and all those kind of companies. Intermediary service को agent वाला service होगा. Hiring service दे रहा हूँ मैं, cab hiring वगैरह का दे रहा हूँ for 1 month. And then we understood transportation of goods other than by way of mail or courier. Here we understood if it is happening through mail or courier, then we have to refer to section 13.2 of the general principle. Then 13.10 talks about passenger transportation services, जहाँ पे embark होगा journey. 13.3 talks about कि मैं embarkment तो कर दिया हूँ और जो on the board जो मैं service दे रहा हूँ conveyance पे, उसमें क्या होगा. Then we understood about the online information and data access or retrieval services, correct है. So उसके अंदर we have understood that the place of location or place of supply will be the location of the recipient of service. And how do we identify the location of recipient service, or what are the deeming provision for the location of recipient of service? So we have identified the seven situations, out of which 7 situations, if 2 situations are satisfied, then he is deemed to be a person in the taxable territory, that we have understood. And to prevent all this, there can be notification which can be given. So one thing which we want to cover now is, which we left in the previous slides, and here I told you that I'll be taking it further, is I'll take just 5 minutes and then we'll wind up the session. So transportation of goods other than by way of mail or courier, correct है. मैं mail और courier के through नहीं जा रहा हूँ, मेरा transportation of goods हो रहा है. So I'll take you through this section 12 के अंदर ही मैंने इसको build किया हुआ है. So so transportation of goods including by mail or courier. Sorry. Right. तो यहाँ पे हमने देखा था कि transportation of goods is including the mail or courier. वहाँ पे section 13 के अंदर हमने देखा it is transportation of goods other than mail or courier, correct है. तो उसका हम डिटेल यहाँ पे देखने वाले हैं. तो यहाँ पे क्या होने वाला है. However, whether transportation of goods is to a place outside India, वहाँ पे मेरा सर्विस रिसिपिएंट कौन हो गया, आउटसाइड इंडिया. द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई शैल बी द प्लेस ऑफ डेस्टिनेशन ऑफ सच गुड्स. ठीक है. तो मेरा डेस्टिनेशन कहाँ पे होगा, प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई क्या होगा, जो डेस्टिनेशन है कहाँ पे वो कंज्यूम हो रहा है, करेक्ट है. इन केस द लोकेशन ऑफ सप्लायर और लोकेशन ऑफ रेसिपिएंट इज आउटसाइड इंडिया, करेक्ट. सो अगर मेरा दोनों में से एक लोकेशन आउटसाइड इंडिया है तो क्या होएगा. Now we come to that provision, correct. So here we see the place of supply of service of transportation of goods other than by way of mail or courier, same provision shall be the place of destination of such goods, जहाँ पे वो goods पहुंचने वाले हैं. For courier, the place of service, supply of service shall be the location of the recipient of service. Wherever the location of recipient of service is not available in ordinary course of business, the place of supply shall be the location of supplier of the service, correct. So this is what we have summarized as far as the place of supply is concerned for the service provision. For service provision, we have seen section 12, where both the supplier of service and the recipient of services in India, and section 13, where either the supplier or the recipient of service is outside India. Clear? So section 12, 13 talks about the supply of services within India, outside India. Section 10 and 11 talks about the supply of services of goods, the supply of goods within India and outside India. And we have also seen why it is important and what will be the outcome. To understand why it is important to understand the place of supply, because once we understand the place of supply, then only we can identify whether we will be applying the CGST, SGST or IGST, correct. Or if we know that it is the place of supply is in taxable territory, then we identify the place of supply. If it is not in the taxable territory, then we say it is exports of goods, correct. I hope this is clear as far as place of supply is concerned. This is what is there in case of the place of supply. In case so you can just note down my numbers and my social media handles where you can connect to me. In case if you have any kind of queries, you can ask me any point of time, and I will try to reply to you as soon as possible. So my number is 9699680721. My Facebook.
So
Hello.
Ankit bhai, you can share this all on our WhatsApp group. All are requested
Okay.
to join WhatsApp group for this 6 days webinar series. You can
Okay.
ask your unanswered queries there also.
Okay.
So kindly join there and directly, I mean, you can contact the our expert also, speaker also. Anything you want to ask, you can directly ask there also.
Clear.
And we are running a poll, so all are requested to kindly give your opinion. What is going on this poll? You please give your whatever rating you want to like to give this webinar. Ankit bhai, the poll is ended.
Yeah.
Can we have
Yeah.
anything left out today, or can we end the session
No,
now?
no. We can end the session now. Thank you very much, Virag Bhai, and thank you for the patience hearing, everybody. Just join the WhatsApp group of Virag Bhai, and so in case of any queries, those can be handled there. Thank you.
So the link for the WhatsApp group is already given in your mail. So from that, you directly can join the WhatsApp group. If not already joined, please join the group, and we can have a unsolved answer there also. Thank you all. Thank you, Ankit bhai. Thank you so much for wonderful session. We have a tomorrow session also, same time 11 a.m. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you.